The diary wasn't hidden. That was the strangest part. It sat on the bedside table, half open, as if she had only stepped away for a moment and planned to come right back. A soft pink cover worn at the edges, the kind of notebook Claire had kept since college. She had always said writing helped her organize her thoughts. I had never read it, not once in 10 years of marriage. Until that afternoon. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a phone charger before leaving for another overnight work trip, the same trips that had become routine over the past year. Claire had been distant lately, but I told myself it was stress. We had grown comfortable, predictable, not unhappy, just quiet. As I reached for the charger, my eyes caught a sentence on the open page. I don't even feel guilty anymore. Something in my chest tightened. I shouldn't have read further. But I did. The handwriting was unmistakably hers, neat, careful, painfully honest. While he's away, I feel alive again. No expectations, no pretending, just excitement. My hands went cold. I kept reading. She didn't use names, just descriptions. The bartender with the tattoos, the guy from the gym, the married neighbor who understood her loneliness. Page after page, entry after entry, like a record of a life I didn't know existed. Not one mistake. Not one moment of weakness. A pattern. 3 this month. I promised myself I wouldn't go past 2, but it's getting harder to stop. I sat down on the bed because my legs suddenly didn't trust me. 10 years? 10 years of shared holidays, inside jokes, future plans. And apparently a double life running parallel to mine the whole time I was working late nights and traveling to build a better future for us. The worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was the tone. There was no remorse in her words, no conflict, just curiosity, thrill, even pride. He'll never find out, he trusts me too much. That line hit harder than anything else. Not because it was cruel, because it was true. I closed the diary carefully, exactly the way I had found it. My hands were steady now, too steady, like the shock had burned away everything else. Claire came home an hour later, cheerful, carrying groceries. Hey, you're still here, she said, surprised. I thought you left already. I changed my mind, I replied. She smiled, setting the bags down. Good, we never get time together anymore. The irony was almost funny. I watched her move around the kitchen, humming softly, completely unaware that the illusion had shattered. For a moment, I considered confronting her right then, throwing the diary onto the counter, demanding answers, watching the panic unfold. But something stopped me. Not fear. Strategy. She thought she was in control. She thought I was predictable, forgiving, oblivious. I decided to let her keep believing that. Over the next few weeks, I played my role perfectly. The loving husband, the busy professional, the man too tired to notice anything beyond his own schedule. Meanwhile, I started noticing everything. The way she guarded her phone, the sudden girls' nights, the new clothes she didn't wear around me, the careful timing of her outings whenever I had trips planned. I didn't need the diary anymore. Reality confirmed it. Instead of exploding, I prepared. Separate bank account, copies of financial records, conversations with a lawyer framed as hypothetical, quiet arrangements for an apartment across town. Revenge, I learned, isn't loud. It's precise. The night everything changed, I told her my biggest project of the year had been approved 3 weeks overseas. She hugged me tightly. I'm so proud of you. Her smile was radiant, genuine, almost loving. I wondered briefly if she ever meant it. I'll miss you, she added. I know, I said. But I didn't leave the country. I checked into a hotel 20 minutes away. On the 3rd night, I drove past our house just after midnight. Her car was there, so was another one I didn't recognize. I didn't go inside. I didn't need to. Some truths don't require witnesses. When I returned early from the trip 2 days later, she looked startled but recovered quickly. You're back already. Project got delayed. She nodded, trying to hide her relief or disappointment. That evening, after dinner, I placed a folder on the table. What's this? She asked. Something you should read. Inside were the divorce papers. Her face drained of color as she flipped through them. You're divorcing me, she whispered. Yes. Why? Her voice shook. I don't understand. For a moment, I considered telling her everything. The diary, the nights, the lies. Instead, I shook my head. You don't need to understand, I said calmly. You just need to sign. Tears spilled down her face. Please don't do this, we can fix whatever's wrong. The words sounded almost rehearsed, like lines she had imagined using someday, just not today. Some things don't need fixing, I replied. They just need ending. She reached for my hand. I pulled it back gently. Was there someone else? She asked desperately. I met her eyes. Yes, I said. It wasn't entirely a lie. The someone else was the version of me who finally respected himself. She sobbed openly now, confusion mixing with panic. The control she thought she had was gone, replaced by uncertainty. I love you, she cried. Maybe she believed that. Maybe she loved the stability, the safety, the man who would never leave. But love without loyalty is just convenience wearing a prettier name. I moved out the next morning. No shouting, no scenes, just the quiet dismantling of a life that had already been broken long before I noticed. Weeks later, a small package arrived at my new apartment. Inside was her diary. No note, no explanation. Just the book. I stared at it for a long time before placing it in a drawer, unopened. I didn't need to read it again. Because the real revenge wasn't exposing her secrets. It was walking away with my dignity intact and leaving her alone with the truth she had written herself.